Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler.
A very good Friday morning to you. Welcome, Lock Shoppers, to the Lock Shop. Presented by Play Alberta Live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thank you to everyone for listening across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. For those listening on or watching on YouTube, as well as for everyone who is listening to this on podcast, thank you very much. Matt Iwanek in for Dusty today. Huss will be joining us momentarily. Huss getting set for the bus, I believe, tomorrow out to Regina to go watch the Bombers take on the Rough Riders in the Labor Day Classic on Sunday between those two teams. On Monday, we're getting set with Edmonton Sports Talk and you, the Nasties, to take two buses down to Calgary to go watch the Elks take on the Stampeders in the Labor Day Classic. We will talk Labor Day. We'll try to build a bit of a parlay today when it comes to the three CFL games this weekend. A reminder of those promo codes for Play Alberta. There's 3 more days left to use them. If you've yet to use them, YEG50. If you deposit $5, you get a $50 free sports bet. EST Sports, deposit $20, get a $50 free sports bet. Come next week, we'll hopefully have, we'll have new promo codes for you. We'll tell you what those promo codes are. I don't know what they're going to be yet. I don't know what they're going to look like. We get a surprise just as you do. And once we hear them, we pass them along to you. So we're pretty much learning all together. But we'll find out next week what the new promo codes with Play Alberta will be. If you go to EST Specials right now, there are a bunch of plays up there. A few Lock Shop parlays that were built, a CFL teaser, an NFL parlay. There's also still that big 25-50 plus 25-50 of Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, Lions, all to win the respective divisions. There's the early bird bet that Dusty built out a bit ago. Bombers plus 6.5, Argos plus 6.5, Elks plus 7, and Jay's play of the day. Rough Riders at Bombers going over 51.5 points. That is minus 105. Stay tuned for Jay's play of the day. That will go up there. We'll have the grandest parlay that will go up there. We'll have the silliest, just the silliest parlay. It's just the silliest parlay. That will go up there. You get that at playalberta.ca by clicking on EST Specials. When we do look at these Labor Day games this weekend, we've got Bombers, Riders minus 4 favorites going into this game. The Blue Bombers plus 146 straight up on the money line. Ticats 6.5 point favorites as they take on the Argos. That's plus 196. Yeah, thank you, Big U. I don't know why it's silliest goose parlay. They have that goose in it. I don't know why I was second guessing myself, but thank you, Big U, for jumping in on that one. And then the Stampeders minus 9.5 now at Play Alberta as they will host the Edmonton Elks. Elks plus 324 straight up on the money line. If you like that game, if you like the Elks to rattle off 4 straight, great value right at that number at plus 324. 780-218-9999. It is the number you normally could text us to get your thoughts in. However, we are still having some technical difficulties with our text line, so you could get in touch with us straight up in the Nasty Chat. Once that changes, hopefully we'll have that sorted out for our later shows today. But if not, the Nasty Chat will be the place to be to get your thoughts in there throughout the rest of the day on Edmonton Sports Talk. And again, a huge shout out to Canadian Brewhouse for allowing us to broadcast the Green and Gold kickoff post-game shows on Monday from their university location in Calgary. That's just a few minutes away from McMahon Stadium. Let's bring him in as I see he's ready to go. Huss is now on Lock Shop. And Huss, when does the big bus get going from Winnipeg to Regina? How long is that bus ride?
It is about 5.5 hours. So plenty of time to get a few in you on the way to Saskatchewan. We're gonna gather meet everybody at 8 and be on the road by 9. I think we gain an hour actually. Yeah. Going there. Usually the routine. By the way, check this out. They just hooked me up. The 1930 crew. We got shirts ready to go for the event. But yeah, we should be on the road by 9. We'll get to Brandon, Manitoba, probably like 11:15 or so. All the buses usually stop there. The Bombers have a big setup there if people want to grab some merch or grab a bite to eat. And then, Usually I think we get into Regina around 2:30 or maybe it's 1:30. It's weird. I keep, it's funny. I had someone coming on from Saskatchewan today on WST, and them not changing times with the rest of us for half the year screws me up so much. And I never know whether it's earlier or later. Oh my God.
I always know, because like the current time we're on that longer for the course of the year. I always know then that we're with the Saskatchewan for the majority of the year. And it's once we make our shift, we go away from Saskatchewan. So I don't know. Booking guests has always helped me figure out where they are in Saskatchewan.
I do enough stuff with you guys throughout the year that I'm pretty much locked on mountain time, knowing that it's 1 hour earlier. But for whatever reason, you think, oh, it's 1 hour, like as if they'd be going to Eastern time. Anyways, I managed to get through that. But yeah, we'll get in at about, just kind of early to mid-afternoon, and then unleash everybody on the city of Regina for the night. And then big day on the great addition. They hooked us up. There's some place right by that they're going to take everyone to that does a big brunch buffet, which is a veteran move before a day like Labor Day in Regina. And then we'll get to that Wayne's World party and take over the stadium and go from there. So yeah, no, we are really fired up.
How many buses? Like how many do you have?
We got about 100 people.
So yeah,
for ours. But I mean,
there's a lot more.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's I would estimate there'll probably be 10 to a dozen.
Wow.
That roll through. I can remember in 2013, 14 or so, Gary and I did a couple with H&L, and there was a couple groups that were doing like 4 to 6 themselves. Now, like with everything, COVID, that time out where people weren't doing it every year, I think it's taking a little while to come back. But it certainly seems to be back this year. And yeah, we are ready. We are ready to roll tomorrow. And I imagine a lot of the nasties, like how much of the group that'll be on the buses that you guys are doing are ESTers, like most of them?
I looked at it yesterday. I would say about, because the Elks were doing this as well. We're joining forces with them, so they promoted. I would say it's about 60-40 EST versus just regular Elks fans. So those non-Elks fan or nasties, just regular Elks fans, they're going to be in for maybe a bit of a what is going on here with this. Maybe they'll get converted. Maybe by when all is said and done, they'll be like, "What's going on with this EST over here?"
Have you planned? I mean, ironic. I mean, you may have to do some sort of official baptism on it. Like I see Uke's in the chat. Like, is Uke going? I mean, Uke's going. Regulars.
Big Uke is going. We've got quite a few regulars. Big Uke was the main baptism of EST, which is a 6 o'clocker lager being poured on someone's head, was at the Nasty Bash, and Big Uke was the recipient of the baptism. So I don't know if we could bring out the baptism on this one, but it's more the door-to-door type salesman, the Jehovah's Witness going door-to-door. This might be me walking up and down the aisles to the ones I don't know. I'm like, have you heard about Edmonton Sports Talk? Did you have a little time so I could explain to you about Edmonton Sports Talk here?
I'll tell you what, I mean, like with all the rest of the nasties on there, I think that'll be one of the best things you guys do all year to immediately get some people feeling like they're really part of the community that you guys are building there in Edmonton.
Yeah, well, Big Uke, they're going to learn on all caps. Big Uke will do a great job of teaching them for us.
By the time you guys get to Calgary, they'll be completely in line with all of the lingo, the inside jokes, the characters. Who from EST is participating in this?
We've got 7 of us. So nice. Jay and I, Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev, Zach, Hernan, and Jasmine. We're going to be split between the 2 buses. We're all going to head down. The only thing is Jay and I, because we have to do the post-game show after, Dusty's going to drive us back because the bus, they're going to want to get going. So we won't be on the bus ride back. But yeah, so we've got about 7 of us down there. But then Dusty, he wants to meet the whole bus as we get to Calgary because Dusty's obviously calling the game. And Tommy's also calling the game on TSN as well. He's going to be on the sidelines for that one. So I was
about to say, where the hell is Gazzola on this crew? He's not adverse to a good time.
No way. He used to do these. Though one of the reasons why I brought this idea up and got it revisited and reborn with the Edmonton Elks is this used to be something that happened a lot. And Tommy's talked a lot about going down on those buses to Calgary. So, if it wasn't for him calling the TSN, like being on the sidelines, I know he would have been on this bus in a heartbeat. But he's going to be there working and stuff, so he can't jump on the bus. But yeah, we've already have those two down there, so that's 9 of us. So it's like Reed's not coming, Jay's not, or Gager's not coming. Is that it? Benny's not coming. Like it's actually quicker for me to name to you who's not coming or going to be down in Calgary than everyone that's going.
In all of this,
who?
Latino Heat, Hernan.
Oh yeah, he's coming.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. No, he's coming. He wasn't going to miss out on this one as well. So it's going to be a fun time. Dusty, he's got the call with Dwayne Ford. No, he's got Dwayne Ford on the call for that one. It's too bad though that he can't. He's not doing the doubleheader this year, as he's not getting to call Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Edmonton, Calgary. Although he's this year, he's kind of happy about it because Sunday we have our fantasy football draft.
Yes.
It's the Spite League draft. And he says, I can't miss the draft after I've won the Spite League. Like, so I joked, I'm like, well, unless you're calling this game, he's like, I would have probably requested this game off if I was put on it because I need to be there for the Spite League draft. So I'm very much looking forward to that on Sunday of watching Dusty walk in having won the Spite League.
I can't believe that you guys, after what happened last year and you guys did to him, I can't believe you didn't specifically plan the draft for maybe 15 minutes into the Calgary-Edmonton game.
Do not say we on that one. I was not part of that. I wasn't there. I did not vote against Dusty. Don't put that one on me there, Huss. Don't add me with all those other ones over there.
Scandalous fantasy activity. By the way, shout out to you were just mentioning it'll be sort of like a Jehovah's Witness. It has now been claimed the Jehovah's EST witness. Jehovah's Witnesses.
I like that. I'll get some name bars, and I'll get a bunch of white shirts, black ties going. And we'll get that all sorted out for everyone going on the bus. And Tanis in the nasty chat. I always sit next to her. Can't wait to ask you a million times if it's my turn to draft yet, Maddie. Tanis is always there, and she always is, and I have to tell her like you're up, and she goes. So it is a fun time. I haven't done it for a few years, so I'm excited to be back. But while that is happening, without question, and every year my computer gets thrown on to TSN as well because I need to be watching Bombers Riders. Let's take a look fully. I know we had a little bit of discussion on this, but let's look at this and maybe see if we can build a little bit of a parlay today. But Bombers Riders, that gets going 5 o'clock on Sunday. You will be there along with a lot of Bombers fans, but it's a sold-out crowd cheering on the Rough Riders as well. For the Bombers, Schoen maybe making his return for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We'll get the full depth chart tomorrow, which is very exciting. Haas, the line right now, 4 in favor of the Riders. Riders -4 for the one we have. What are you thinking about this game? Is this? I know we talked about yesterday. We ran through the numbers. 4 of the last 5 years, this game has been decided by exactly 2 points. Where do you put the chances of the Bombers leaving Regina with the victory, not just covering?
I mean, I think there's probably sort of a 30% chance. I mean, I think it's sort of put it 70-30 for Sask, which I think is sort of reflected in what the money line is. I'm seeing plus 180 for the Bombers. There are minus 222 for Sask. I be honest, this is the first time I've seen this line move the way that it did. I mean, even late last night, it was still 5.5. So I think what this is telling us is that there's a real positive feeling on Nick Dembski playing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And as expected, Dartland Schoen, should be returning to the lineup as well. I got thinking after our conversation yesterday, and we went into it a little bit more on WST, just about the fact of how close 4 of these last 5 games have been. And at that time, the Bombers were sort of the team that, was probably favored, at least on a neutral field. And obviously Saskatchewan did win one of those. But even last year, I mean, when Sask had that great start to the season and was a favorite, the Bombers found a way to win. We are starting to get some feelings like last season. I mean, after a really tough start, turning it around. The record's better this year, but to be honest, it hasn't felt as good just with the way the team's lost. And then, I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around the fact that all of the losing, like the things that you're most concerned about, is all against the Calgary Stampeders. Yeah. And this team that they're playing on Sunday has had the exact same problems against that team. I mean, Calgary's 5-0 against the two teams in the Labor Day Classic. And outside of games against Calgary, Winnipeg's 6-1 and Saskatchewan's 8-0. So there is definitely an argument that the Bombers will go in there, play their best game of the season, and really compete there. There also is, I think, a realistic chance that the Riders come out, with a real chip on their shoulder after their loss last week. If they get a really good start and that offense starts humming and that crowd gets behind them, we've seen before sometimes these games get completely away on the visitors. So I'm not discounting that. To me, this is a really tough game, and I can give you an argument on both sides. I mean, going there cheering for the Bombers, I tell you what, I liked it way more at +5.5 than I do at +4. But I will lean to it being another Labor Day Classic and another really tight game. Not sure whether the Bombers can pull off the win. I certainly hope that they will do that, exactly that. But I think I'll take the points and just hope for a heck of a game. I mean, I can make a good argument for the underdog in all three of these games this weekend for Labor Day.
It's interesting. We had Matt Shinetti on the Reed Wilkins show, myself and Jay, yesterday, and we brought up this game with him. And he was of the mindset, and he's like, he had just covered the Bombers game the week prior against Montreal, and he's like, I just talked to Brady, and he's like, Winnipeg is Winnipeg until you see differently. And while we try to write them off, he loved what he saw from Winnipeg last week. He loved what he saw, and when just talking to Brady Oliveira, and he's thinking that they're rolling going into this one. It's a big one because it's always nice, I feel, to be the home team in the second of these two meetings, like for Edmonton and Winnipeg. I love the idea of having that home game second because there is that little less pressure where if you do lose, like you get to go, but okay, well, we at least get to go home to split this series. Yeah. Whereas if you're the home team, and especially with how close it is between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg right now, if Saskatchewan were to lose this, how much is this? Oh my God, here we go again. How much does that pop into the minds of the Rider players of like, now we got to go to Winnipeg. We got to go to Princess Auto Field into their tough barn to try to get the split. Otherwise, we're third in the West all of a sudden. It's going to be a fascinating matchup too, because just when you look at defensive side of things, the two best teams against the run are Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. Two of the best offensive weapons both teams have, AJ Ouellette and Brady Oliveira.
Yeah,
I do like, though, that, Oliveira is really good. I guess Ouellette has it, too, a bit. But Oliveira is really good at catching the ball as well and out of the backfield. But that matchup of AJ Ouellette and Brady Oliveira against the respective defenses is going to be a fascinating one to watch. And I do see what you're saying about the one team like the Riders, especially because they're the home team. They could, these games could get away if it starts off early. But I believe it was last year that now it's reversed. But the Bombers had a huge lead. And the Riders got that onside kick at the end of the game, and they almost had a chance to win that football game. Like that's the stuff that happens on the Classic for me, where I could see the Riders still getting up, and the Riders have shown it this season that they'll still, like, first game of the season, they allowed the Red Blacks to start making a comeback. I feel like even if the Riders get up pretty big, that this Bombers team isn't just going to go away lightly. And also, we're going to be talking about in the fourth quarter, like, oh my God, all of a sudden this game's now within one possession. So I'm with you. 5.5 would be a little more comfortable, but I feel like this is a game that's decided within a field goal. And for me, that taking the Bombers +4, I like that because it's not saying that the Riders won't win this football game. It's just saying that this game is going to be super tight.
Well, and here's just something to think about, and we've kind of talked about this with the season that Brett Lowther's had. I mean, if it does come down to a field goal, who do you have more confidence in kicking that field goal?
100%.
Sergio Castillo or Brett Lowther?
Although
I'll give it to the luchador.
Lowther, he was away from practice yesterday for the birth of his first kid. So maybe that inspires him a little bit.
So that's the family thing he's dealing with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's, I wish you didn't tell me that, because baby swag is a real thing. And if there's one thing that can give that guy a boost coming into the Labor Day Classic, it's being a new dad. So congratulations to Brett Lowther.
Yeah, and the first time dad too. Like this is like, it's not, 2 or 3. Like this is something brand new to him. So maybe there's that little extra confidence. Although I will say this, with Brett Lawler, I feel a lot more confident. If you're talking about a 45, 50 yarder, I actually feel more confident in that for him to tie it than like a 35, 30 yarder.
Missed a 28 last week.
I know.
Well,
with that pressure, don't like it.
If he comes out and goes 6 for 6 and just has the game of his life, it'll be hilarious. Like he'll have to go for all future games. He's just going to go through a preparation of sleep deprivation before the game. just keep doing what you're doing. But hey, listen, I mean, it's a lot more than that goes into it. I mean, the Riders do have a couple of their top receivers out, which obviously is this, a bit of a boost for the Bombers. The Bombers are going to be without Jared Stearns. He's been excellent and getting more and more comfortable. And you hate to see that, because as a former Rider, those are the guys that seem to have the biggest games when these two teams play. And it's similar on the other side. When, guys that are former Bombers end up in Saskatchewan, they'll be ready. I can't wait. I hope TSN has our buddy Andrew Harris's hype speech recorded on the sidelines, because Harris, of course, who's now coaching running backs with the Riders, Bomber legend, he's going to have something to say about this game. It should be great. But yeah, listen, let's go for a real fun game. 4 of the last 5, as we mentioned, have been 2-point games. Both these teams are really good. I see it being another great one. So for those in attendance and those betting, let's I like the Bombers +4 in this one, but as I said, this just moved right now. I might wait a little bit to see if at least we maybe get it to 4.5. Well, I don't think it's going to go the other way personally, but I didn't think it was going to get to 4 either.
I'm just building out a parlay as we talk, and I've right now just put Bombers 4.5 onto my list for that. I think for a parlay here, I'm just going to put it at 4.5 for that one, and then I would feel really good about that one. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I probably would pick Riders outright to win this, but the Bombers, I don't think I think they're keeping this one extremely, extremely close. On Monday, this game, first game starting at 12:30 Mountain Time, which is 1:30 out in Winnipeg. You've got the Ticats hosting the Argos. For Play Alberta, the line is 6.5 for the Ticats. The Ticats coming off of a bye week, but also prior to that, 2 big losses, losing to the BC Lions, and then they lost to, why am I forgetting who they lost to the week after? Saskatchewan. I was there. Got dominated by Saskatchewan. For Toronto, coming off a huge victory against the BC Lions, Nick Arbuckle having a great game. Polk looks to be like he will be added to that receiving core. I think DeMonte Coxey's going to be back in the lineup for the Toronto Argonauts. Haas... For the Argos, they if they win this game, all of a sudden they're back in the conversation. They're only 2 points back of Montreal for second in the East. Oh, yeah. What do you make of this game that we're seeing?
Well, it is so hard to parse what we've seen from the Argos all season long alongside what we saw last week. Now, Nick Arbuckle has been great all year when it comes to they've been moving the football. They've been scoring touchdowns. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves. But as a team overall, they've found so many different ways to lose. Coming back the way they did last week at this point of the season, going into the biggest weekend of the year, I think is a huge boost for Toronto. And listen, I really like what Hamilton's done this year. I think they're coming off the bye, are they not? So, I mean, they've got. So
they went to a bye pissed off because they've lost 2 straight.
Big time. So Hamilton is going to be ready to go on this one. But here's the thing: this Toronto offense is going to put up points, and whether they get out league early, whether the Argos or the Ticats are up, and it's a matter of time to kind of battle back. We've seen that over and over again from the Argos all season long, even in games that they've lost. So 6.5 to me is just too much. Even though Hamilton is at home, they'll have a great crowd for this game. I know the Argo Hardos will be there as well. It won't be as many, but they'll be there supporting their team. But I just have too much respect for Ryan Dinwiddie and what this offense is doing right now to think that the Ticats are just going to show up and blow the doors off them in this football game. So, I mean, when it was 5.5, I was still sort of feeling Toronto. I mean, if you're going to give me 6.5, which is a pretty significant point going from 5.5 to 6.5, I'm going to take the Argos. And listen, I don't rule out the Argos winning this football game. They've lost some games that they should have won this year. I realize they're an underdog, but man, this is another one of those things where you throw the records out at Labor Day. The Argos are certainly the more desperate team right now, absolutely needing this win. And I think we saw some of that last week. So I'm going to take the points with Toronto on the road.
Yeah, I'm actually fully with you on that one. Like last year, Hamilton surprised. They got the Labor Day win. I think it was a comeback win for them. Where things were looking really good, but they found a way to knock off the Argos in a soft year. I also just like, it is the 2 losses for Hamilton. They are coming off a bye, so they'll be a little bit more rested, but you can almost, and I think here in Edmonton, we look more at the positive of how close the Elks were against Hamilton Tiger Cats and how, they almost won that football game. And if Keon Julian Grant doesn't drop that football, the Elks probably win that football game. But I think when you're looking at the Ticats, is that the start of maybe things showing that they're not as good as maybe we thought they were potentially? Maybe they're not at this top echelon or knocking on the likes of, when healthy, Montreal and Saskatchewan and Winnipeg and Calgary right now. And maybe there's people here in Edmonton will say, really, if Julian Grant catches that football, the Ticats were talking about likely being 3 straight losses heading into this one. So are they trending kind of in the other direction as opposed to just looking at these 2 losses? So the Argos team are a team that know how to put up points through the last few weeks. I think Polk coming back is really well. I wonder if, the one knock on the Toronto Argonauts this season has been they haven't had a run game. Well, what's one of the reasons they beat the BC Lions last week is they started utilizing the run a bit. They had the run game going, and look at this. They put up
carries.
I know, and they put up 52 points, and they go beat up BC Lions team that everyone thought was going to go win that football game. So maybe for Ryan Dinwiddie and that offense, they have figured some things out a little bit more as well there. So you add Coxie, you add Polk, you add a running attack. Now all of a sudden, can the Ticats get going in this one? So I think this is a game full of points, and I'm with you. I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about the Argos winning this football game. And so then if this line is going to be 6.5, I'm very much liking the Toronto Argonauts at 6.5. And again, for the Blue Bombers, we moved it to 4.5. I might just move this for a play to 7.5 for the Argos and keep it within 7. Because they're going to lose. Even if they lose, I think they're going to be able to score points. And again, flip side, if the Ticats get to a big lead, garbage points. I think there could be a backdoor cover even for the Argos if we're putting this at a 7.5. So
100%.
Right?
Listen, the backdoor cover is absolutely a possibility in this game. I mean, if the Ticats are up by 13, with 2 minutes left, especially at 6.5, they get a late touchdown in the final minute. They kick the extra 10 at 6, and they go for an onside kick and don't do it. Who? Of the Bombers, Argos, and Elks, the 3 underdogs, who do you think is best positioned to potentially win on the weekend? I could make an argument that even though Toronto's a longer number than the Bombers, I think that Toronto might be like, if I was just going to bet, if I had to put $10 down on one of the underdogs to win money line, I think I might go Toronto before either Winnipeg or Edmonton. And I think both of those teams have a good possibility of being in real tight games and maybe winning themselves.
For the team themselves, it would be Winnipeg. But when I look at add in the factor of the opponent, it makes it Toronto for me. I think that Toronto, with the way that they played last week, going up against the Hamilton team, I like that matchup much more for the Argonauts than as much as I do like the Bombers. And I think that team is better, obviously, than the Toronto Argonauts. Like Tim Hortons, or it's not Tim Hortons Field anymore, whatever the stadium is called in Hamilton now. That's going to be loud. It's sold out there. It's sold out in Saskatchewan. So the home crowd is equal in that one. I just think going up against the Riders team that is pissed off themselves. Like I find that the opponent is a lot more difficult than I'm with you. It's Toronto. And I can't put Edmonton in the same as those two because I'm giving too much. I am completely respecting the Calgary Stampeders right now because of what I've seen them do this season. That For me, and this is where I'm kind of struggling with some people in the city of Edmonton right now. It's just like, it's not I know why Elks fans are confident in their team. I know why Elks fans are believing in their team. I just have to respect Calgary too much right now because of what I've seen them do when VA is the starting quarterback. PJ Walker was in this game. Completely different story. But PJ Walker's not in this game. It is Vernon Adams Jr. It's Dedrick Mills, and it's them. So, yeah, for me, I think if I had to make one money line play this weekend, it would probably be the Toronto Argonauts in this one. And with that, let's jump to the Labor Day Classic, which will be here in Edmonton, that we will be at 4:00. Elks, Stampeders. I think you're going to be shocked on this number a little bit for Play Alberta. It's moved a bit throughout the week. It's 9.5 now for the Calgary Stampeders. Yeah, saw those eyes. What? 9.5 for the Stampeders. That's at Play Alberta. How do you see this game coming out? I know earlier you said you could make the case for the Elks winning this football game. What's the case for the Edmonton Elks winning this football game?
The case for the Elks winning this football game is the momentum that they've had on offense carries over early in the football game. There's been too many games recently, and again, against inferior opponents as opposed to what they're playing, where the Elks have been in the game, have sort of hung around, and then it's been up to Cody in the fourth quarter to make the plays. And he's done it. I mean, he's brilliantly done it. And listen, we mentioned the Julian Grant drop. I mean, this team could be on a run of 4 in a row if that had happened. It's 3 right now. That's fine. Listen, Fajardo needs to have his best game of the season for that to happen. Yeah. I think it's pretty clear. Both with getting the football out early and also doing what he does best, and that is often improvising and making plays with his legs. Because they're like, Trevor Harris is the best in the league when it comes to getting rid of the football. He wasn't able to do that last week against the Calgary Stampeders. He was sacked 4 times. That just doesn't happen. Yeah,
when he can't get rid of the football quickly, he's a struggling quarterback. But when he's on and he's getting that release, it's hard to stop him. It's almost impossible.
Just, and that's why they play so much man against the Riders, is because he's often throwing within 2 seconds of getting the football in his hand. So he just carves up zone defenses. So listen, I think for Cody, very early on, and oh my God, if they could establish some of the run game, I mean, that's sort of the Bomber blueprint. I mean, how can you make your quarterback feel a little bit more comfortable in the pocket? Well, if they have to really respect your running game, then, I mean, all of a sudden it gives the quarterback a little bit more options and more room to move, especially for a guy that can run the way Cody can. I do think that the biggest challenge in this football game is going to be on the defensive side of the ball for the Elks. And they have been trending in a positive direction. And along with that, the less time that they've been on the field, because the offense can actually make first downs and hold on to the football a little bit longer. But I do see, I mean, especially if this is field position, the offense is going to need to be able to get some first downs and not give any short fields and stay in this. And I think that if this is a game, or if it's within a touchdown going into the second half, I think that Fajardo has been able to make adjustments and, bottom line, raise his level of play with the game on his line, game on the line, to give the Elks a chance. I mean, 9.5 is a crazy number. I mean, I'm looking around. I haven't barely even seen an 8 out there. So for people that want to bet the Elks, I mean, you're not seeing double digits anywhere. And listen, if you want to bet Calgary, that's not where you want to be doing it. But man, for those of you that are listening, that are thinking, you know what, I believe in the Elks, or at least to have this a game, to get those extra 2 points, absolutely massive. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like the Elks have come around so much as a team. And let's face it, we just talked about how desperate Toronto is. Edmonton's got to be that level of desperation every week, even though their record is a little bit better because of the division that they're in and the situation that they're in. But I tell you what, they find a way to win this football game and have the rematch in Edmonton next week. all bets are off when it comes to the West and a potential playoff. I mean, BC is going to sit back. If they watch that, all of a sudden it's really game on in the West. So I like what I've seen from Edmonton over the last few months. I realize they're playing a much, much better opponent. But as this line continues to balloon now to 9.5, give me Cody Fajardo and the Elks to at least keep this one close.
I will say, imagine if the Bombers and the Elks find victories this weekend, the West standings would be Saskatchewan at 16, Calgary at 14, Winnipeg at 14, BC at 10, Edmonton at 10. It would be a tight thing. For the Elks, the two big things, a couple people in the Nasty Chat, Savage the Plumber, they need to play a perfect game and hope Calgary makes a few mistakes, possibly no probable, no, possibly, absolutely. Kelvin Van Dassler, they need to fix the third quarter mess if they want to continue. Big Uke, this is a game where you need your defense to contribute some points. Pick 6 for Calgary would be huge for the program. I'm going to point to two things here for the Elks, which they need to clean up if they want a shot in this. And Jay has pointed this one out a bit. The Elks have struggled third quarters. That has been one of the biggest concerns of the Elks this season. They've only scored 30 third quarter points this season. They've given up 66. When you look at the Calgary Stampeders, this is a team that has scored 59 points in the third quarter and has only given up 22 points in the third quarter, which is just a ridiculously small number. So what they do coming out of halftime, that's huge, because a few times this season, we've either seen the Elks with leads, blow those leads, and also we have a close conversation, or the Elks watch the game kind of get away from them. The other thing I will say, because this is Mark Killam's, I don't know how many straight Labor Day games, but this is the first one on the other side of it. But as someone who's watched this a lot from an Elks perspective or a Double E perspective for the years, one of the things that happens quite a bit, I feel like, I'd have to go look up the stats on this one, but one thing that has crushed the Double E over the last 15 years, it seems like every 2 or 3, every 2 years or something, the Calgary Stampeders are good for a punt return or a kickoff return for a touchdown that is just a blow. And I will say to Big Uke, I'm going to switch what you say of needing the defense to contribute some points. I'm just going to say they need to get some points, whether it be defense or special teams. A Javon Leake return touchdown or something like that, that is something that I if the Elks are going to win this football game, I don't see them just doing it on offense. I think they're going to need some sort of point coming the other way, whether that's off of VA pick or whether that's with the Javon Leake in the return game. But the Mark Killam special teams magic that has hurt the Double E for so many years on this Labor Day Monday, they're going to need a little bit of that magic going into this one. It helped them last week against Ottawa. They need to get one of those again this weekend. And then I would actually feel, if I see Javon Leake get into the end zone off of a punt or a kickoff return, I'm going to feel really good about the Elks possibly actually winning that football game, let alone covering the 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, two things. I mean, a big special teams play or an advantage in the special teams ledger, massive. You want to have the better end of the kicking game, but listen, as you mentioned, and look at what that return did last week for them. I mean, it turned what would have been a really close game into an easy cover and a 10-point win, although they did need that big play late in the game. And here's the other thing, the turnover battle. I mean, I know this is simple and you can say it pretty much about every single game, but if you want to go in and upset a very good team on the road, you need to have a couple big plays, from your defense, and you need to be clean and take care of the football. And if all that happens, we could have, I'm just pulling this up. Do you know when the last time the Elks won this game?
2 years ago. No, last year. Sorry, last year. They won last year, lost the 2 prior, won the one before. I think it was 21, and last year they won. Yeah.
They're 2-2 in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
They got that win last year, and obviously Calgary was on a real down year. The Stamps won the 2 previous years. Elks in 21. Before that, it was 8 straight for the Stampeders. Going back to the Elks 30, or at the time Eskimos 35-7 win over Calgary in 2011. And Killam has been around for most of those.
Well, 06. Edmonton's won since 06 to 19 as the Eskimos. 06 to 19. The Eskimos only won 2. The Stamps won 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them. 12-2 in those span. Here's the, in my lifetime until just a few years ago, the Double E had a winning record on Labor Day. And it was 2 years ago in 2022, the Stampeders tied it. And 2 years ago in 23, they actually had the lead for the first time in my life on Labor Day because of what the Double E did, the Eskimos did in the 10s. Bo Levi Mitchell just crushed this team, which includes Michael Riley years. The Elks with that win last year, it's now back to a 31-31-1 season series. I don't want to get back to a point where the Stamps have this, but I feel likely that they will. But yeah, it's because of how bad they were in the 10s, the Stampeders are able to close the gap of the Labor Day series. When you look at the Riders lead the Bombers 38-21, partly because from 05 to 15, it was all Riders. The Ticats have a 37-15-1 Labor Day record against the Argos. But yeah, it's a dead tie, 31-31-1 between the Double E and the Calgary Stampeders, unfortunately, for us here in Edmonton. That damn Bo.
If you look at the Bomber Rider, the Bomber Rider Labor Day rivalry, I think my first Labor Day was 2008. The Bombers lost 19-6. And then we went every year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 straight losses, including the ultimate humiliation, the 52-0 game in 2012. And Maddie, just to give you an idea of how sad of a scene it was that day for Bomber fans, we did not leave early. And after the 3-minute warning, it's 52-0. And Bomber fans, we got a big chant started. All we want is a rouge. And walking out of the stadium afterwards, usually, listen, it's a fun game. People are partying. I mean, there's a lot of good-natured banter. None of the BS for the most part. I've never actually seen anything that maybe you see on some social media. Like, I've never seen a fight or anything like that. It's so much fun. But listen, you take full advantage of giving it to the other guys when you win. We walked out of that stadium just shell-shocked after what we'd seen. And not a single Rider fan shit-talked us at all. In fact, we were being offered beers in the parking lot by Rider fans that literally felt sorry for us.
That's more embarrassing almost.
Rock bottom. And to think about that year was a year after the Bombers went to the Grey Cup. They went to the Grey Cup in 2011. Lapo was fired before that game. That was Tim Burke's first game as the head coach of the Bombers. And they responded by getting pumped 52-0. So we earned our stripes finally in 2016, got the win on the Medlock field goal, the final win for the final game for the Bombers in Mosaic Stadium. And then since that time, the Bombers had the first everything in Mosaic Stadium. The first preseason win, the first regular season win, the first playoff win, and the Grey Cup. So they've sort of owned that building, and listen, have won 3 of the last 4, but it does feel like it's a little different in Regina this year with what the Riders have done so far. So yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, but let's ride with the dogs. Let's get some great games, maybe a couple upsets. Hell, I'd take all 3 upsets. I think that would be wonderful, but I think one of Winnipeg or Edmonton fans will be having fun. And wouldn't it be a great lock shop on Tuesday if we both come back from our trips talking about big upset wins for the visitors?
And knowing that they have to come to the respective barns in our cities. Like, that just is the add-on, the cherry on top. Now it's you got to have the big house. Like Princess Auto sold out. That's going to be rocking.
Does Calgary travel for that backup game? Like, I mean, the Stamps.
They used to actually travel pretty well.
But Calgary seems to have, like if I was ranking Canadian cities' fan bases, Calgary would be way down the list. And I know when the Flames are good, everyone sort of gets into it. But I mean, the Stamps, Now I realize the last couple of years have been rough for them, but for the longest time they were so good. They weren't filling that building. Yes, they have a pretty good following there. And maybe if they had a legitimate stadium, that would be a little bit of a different story. I mean,
It'd be nice.
I just thinking about that pisses me off. I can't believe the Grey Cup is there next year. That facility is not worthy of the championship game. I'll just put that out there. But hey, you know what? Elks are on a heater. Cody Fajardo's writing a hell of a story right now. Why not add to it and get Mark Killam the biggest win of his head coaching career, both because of the circumstances and because of the opponent, Monday afternoon in Cowtown with the Nasties and the Jehovah's Witnesses in tow.
I was just taking a look. I don't see any like Labor Day bus rematch from Calgary up here. What I recall from going for a number of years, there's usually a decent contingent of Calgary fans. It's usually a big one too, because the Elks cheerleaders usually are in Calgary on the Monday, and then on the rematch, the Stampeders cheerleaders are here. But I don't know if they're coming. Although Edmonton, right now, a win would go a long way for this. I don't think they're trending to, at the moment, a sellout for Edmonton. But if I look at like what's available, and maybe that all changes, it's supposed to be still beautiful weather all week next week here in Edmonton. That's going to be like, I think sellout is like 31. I think they're trending to 27, 28 right now, if I had to guess, for the rematch. But yeah, if you get that win, changes, all bets are off even more so on that one. So that's always a fun one. And and I know Calgary is, by all accounts, I believe, going well too. Tickets are going well out there. And we've already said Hamilton and Saskatchewan both sold out for this weekend. So it's wonderful. It's a great time of the year. Honestly, Labor Day is one of my, we did a thing this week of your 4 favorite sports days on the calendar. Labor Day always drops in for me just because it has that nostalgia to me as a kid, getting ready, school the next day, but watching, Elks or Eskimos at the time and the Stampeders with my brother and my dad is knowing the next day I got to go back to school. This is the last bit of summer. This is the last thing. So it's wonderful, and I can't wait to see what happens this whole weekend.
Just got to quickly say in the chat, Vincento wrote I went to the third game in Calgary in 2015 when the S won, and it was dead silent. Nobody said the word. Then Dawson Nielsen, Huss, the Stamps fan base is so bad. Tate McRae is an Elks fan. Who knew? But listen, if Tate's co-signing the Elks, I'm right there with her. Big Tate McRae guy right here. I will say that.
Yeah. If Tate McRae knows what the CFL is, I'll be surprised.
Of course she does. She's a good Calgary, good.
She just said that Calgary doesn't feel like home anymore to her in an interview not that long ago.
Well, maybe she's moving to Edmonton because she's on the Elks wagon.
Wouldn't that be something? That's what the CFL needs. They need someone dating Tate McRae to be their version of Taylor Swift.
I tell you what, that wouldn't hurt.
Well, Dalton Schoen, I think he tweeted at someone. He might have been at Tate McRae last year. Who did he tweet at?
I could see Dalton Schoen shooting his shot like that. He
shot a shot at with someone. Yeah, he shot a shot with Tate McRae. His tweet last year. Somebody deleted their tweet, so I can't see who it was. But he says, I could get on board with this storyline at Tate McRae. So I think it was like Dalton Schoen should date Tate McRae or something like that. So
hey,
he shot a shot. She's single now. Well, you never know. Huss. Before I send you off and get you, to your weekend and your bus, what's coming up on WST today?
Well, actually, a fun show. We'll get ready for the Labor Day game. We were going to have Derek Taylor on. He's got no voice, which is not a good thing for a guy that's doing the play-by-play of the game. So we've gone to the bullpen, and I should have done this earlier anyway, but every Labor Day week we hook up with Rod Peterson.
Nice.
So Rod's going to jump on today. It'll be fun. Ken Weeb's just back from the Olympic orientation camp in Calgary. And then very rarely do we veer off, but late August is a perfect time. A bit of a non-sports interview. None other than Steve O.
Nice.
From the Jackass crew.
Awesome.
So Steve O's coming on, and then Hacksaw. And of course, we'll dive into the NFL notebook. We haven't touched on the Micah Parsons trade from yesterday. Speaking of shaking up the lines, I was getting ready for our WST Futures special yesterday. Finished the show. Boom, this trade happens. I spent half an hour online looking at all the reactions. And then I go, and all the futures were off the board for about an hour because this shook things up. I mean, the Packers are now the favorite in the NFC North over the Lions. They're a pretty short number to win the NFC right now, although I kind of am eating the cheese, as it were. But we'll get into all of that and finish off and then go for it. I'm just thinking, Matt, I'll pack up and get ready to go tomorrow. This, I think, is basically my last day with nothing going on for a long time because we got the trip these next 3 days, back on Monday night fantasy draft Tuesday, another draft Wednesday, NFL kickoff on Thursday, Chiefs Chargers Friday, Banjo Bowl Saturday, first NFL Sunday on the Sunday of that weekend. We got Monday Night Football, 2-3 days, and then boom, off to KC for the Chiefs home opener, Royals game a couple days, and then it's training camp and hockey's back and the whirlwind begins. So wherever you guys are, enjoy Labor Day weekend. And then we got a lot on our hands in the lock shop on EST on Winnipeg Sports Talk as the NFL and NHL get underway.
It's going to be great. Huss, have a great trip to Regina. All the best with that, and we'll talk with you next week.
I hope you and the Nasties have a great time, and may the home fans all across the country leave CFL stadiums pissed off this weekend. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. WST coming up with Huss and Remus over on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this one out there. The lock shop parlay I'm going to build today. We had Bombers minus 4.5, Argos minus 7.5. I'm putting the Elk Stamps over 49.5. I'm changing that one. I'm not doing a spread on that one. And the reason for that one is unless somebody wants to, I don't know. The other thing is Big Uke in the Nasty Chat. He did say Stamps third quarter money line minus 147. I don't know if I add that one or if I go over 49.5. So I'm going to throw that one to you, the Nasties. The reason I'm doing a little different is that the earlier bet I'm seeing from earlier this week, I forgot about this. Bombers plus 6.5, Argos plus 6.5, Elks plus 7. It's the same, except we've moved the lines a little bit. So there's no point fully doing kind of the exact same bet here. So I'll keep the two spreads in there. Bombers minus 4.5. I'll put the Argos minus 7.5. But where should I go with this Elk Stamps game? Do we go over 49.5, or do we add Stampeders third quarter money line? Whatever I see in the Nasty Chat, that's what I am going to go with. Whatever kind of is the consensus over the next few minutes, minute or so, that's kind of what I'm going to go with. But yeah, Huss, Remus, Big Ugarty, I like the over, so that's one for the over already. Huss, Remus, coming up, Winnipeg Sports Talk right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We do have the oil stream, Hernan and Gazzola. We got EST Afternoons, Hernan and Koob, and then we got the Reed Wilkins Show. Last day without Reed. It's going to be Jay Milne. It's going to be Tom Gazzola. It's going to be Zachary Kubish. They've got Dwayne Ford. They've got Armando Sewell. They've got Jeff Hamilton on the show. So they've got a busy, busy show coming up. We've got Pipeline Show noon tomorrow right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We got VIP Golf Show. It's one of the last VIP golf shows of the season with Murray McCourt and Curtis Stock, 8 a.m. on Sunday. And then Green and Gold kickoff and post-game shows on Monday, 3 o'clock for the kickoff show, live from the Canadian Brewhouse in Calgary on University Ave, as we'll get you set for that one. Nick in the North, third quarter's a lock. VR over. 2 votes were for the over, 1's for the third quarter. Going to lock in an over 49.5 as well. Keep it on Play Alberta EST specials for that one going up there as well. Quickly, EST promo codes. Last few days, if you haven't used them, EST Sports. Deposit 20, get a free 50. YUG 50. Deposit 5, get a $50 free sports bet. On behalf of Huss, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning into the Lock Shop here at Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. Up next, it will be the oil stream. Enjoy that. Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk with you from Calgary on Monday.